all moms are super moms. One of them, Jacqueline Toboroff, is a writer who uses her platform and her skills to fight for moms and their parental rights. She has also written a book highlighting some super moms who are making a big difference all around the country. It's not surprising that she selected a very special mom for America to feature in her book. Can you guess who that mom might be? Well, stay tuned and we'll let you know. Welcome to the Moms for America podcast. Each week, special guests tackle the issues facing the moms of America today. Discussions include personal stories and advice on how moms can build a strong foundation of faith, family, and freedom in their homes and country. Well, hi, moms. Thank you so much for joining us here. Deb Kurlitis. I'm so glad that you are with us once again on the Moms for America podcast. Right here at the top of the show, I always want to invite our moms to like, subscribe, and share. And I'm also asking everyone to review the podcast. We surely would appreciate that. So please share and tell your mama friends about our Moms for America podcast. Also, moms, if you have not joined the movement here, I want to invite you personally to join the Moms for America movement. We are moms all across the country uniting together to fight for faith, family, freedom, and the Constitution. We are a very special sisterhood. So please check us out at momsforamerica.us. Join the movement, join the sisterhood, and join our family here with mamas all across the country. Also, if you have an idea or a topic for our podcast, would you please email me at podcast@momsforamerica.net. I would love to hear from you. And we are going to be doing a special giveaway too. So I will remind you about that at the end of the program. All righty, on to today's show. Jacqueline Toboroff is a Manhattan native and published writer. She serves as an editor-in-chief at CD Media's online news publication, The Manhattan, and she has a weekly column on the sidewalks of New York. She provides a platform for mothers who are fed up with having their parental rights challenged by the government. Jacqueline has written a new book called Supermoms Activated, 12 Profiles of Hero Moms Leading the American Revival. Well, welcome, Jacqueline, to the Moms for America podcast. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
All right, let's get a little bit of the background on your family. Tell us about your kids, your hubby, where you're at. We'd love to get to meet everyone.
Yeah, so I'm a divorced mom of two. My eldest daughter is 14. My son is 10 years old. And I'm born and raised in Manhattan. I'm throwing caution to the wind, and I'm raising my two children in Manhattan. I was never politically active prior to 2020. And then a host of really challenging issues started to present themselves. And I decided to run for office.
Look at that. Good for you,
yes,
Mama.
Yeah, it was a local position. I ran for city council because, as Kimberly, one of the 12 supermoms in my book, knows, everything starts locally.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran for city council because city council in New York City is a huge deal. There are 51 members, and up until I ran, there were only 3 conservatives, 3 Republicans. Wow. So that is really what it means by one-party Democrat rule. And city council controls education, the Department of Education, and the NYPD. And every mom knows, if you don't have safety and education, you have nothing.
Huge issues, of course.
Right. So I ran for city council. And while I lost in 2021, I had 3 major victories. I was the first female GOP candidate ever for that seat to raise matching funds. I helped flip the only area in Manhattan to go from blue to pink, which was Chinatown. And I had the highest amount of voter turnout ever for that seat. And by numbers, I had a higher amount than my Democrat opponent, but it was 7-1. So it was a numbers game. But what happened was, just like Kimberly Fletcher and the other 11 supermoms say, once you get a taste and once you start, everything
Once you get active, once you understand the issues, you really feel like you need to help be a part of the solution. What is it like in Manhattan right now?
It's terrible in Manhattan. And I feel like I can say that because number one, I'm born and raised here. And number two, as any mother knows, it's tough love. New York City needs some tough love right now. We have absolutely terrible elected officials. They have prioritized criminals, illegals. Criminals by definition is what they are, we are being told they are asylum seekers or migrants. This is gaslighting us. And as a mom of two, I can tell you, I just got an email from my children's sports league. Soccer is being taken away because Mayor Adams has decided to use Randall's Island to home illegals. We have schools here in Manhattan that have over 50% illegal children in the population. There's sex assault. The New York State Department of Education has just made gender affirmation the sole focus this coming September. And what that means is they are going to start with preschoolers, 2.5 years old and up, planting seeds of doubt about their biological sex, and then helping them transition and conceal it from their parents. And
terrible.
The other very sad piece of news is that America's largest teachers union over the summer, 1.7 million members, has been mandated to read gender queer. So this is what's happening not only in New York City, but in America.
Yeah. It is shocking, to say the least, on what is happening in these major cities all across the country. We have that here where I'm at. I'm right out of Chicago. So you saw these issues, you saw the situation at hand, you became active. The attack on parental rights, before we jump into your book, is really blatant. And I know that is really one of the things that helped you kind of get involved and even write this book. It's are you just completely shocked on where we're at right now with the attack on parental rights?
I am absolutely shocked. So I was part of that nascent wave of first-time candidates that were moms that were running in 2020. And my entire focus was parental rights.
Right.
And that's what opened all of these doors for me. And it's how I connected very authentically to all of these women in the book, as well as other people, Carrie Lake, who endorsed the book. We were part of this wave. Kimberly is one of the moms in this book who I have to say she's, a clairvoyant. She was able to forecast what was coming. And as were the other 11 moms. We saw this infringement on parental rights as the linchpin that was really tearing America apart, and that was going to galvanize the parents and make these moms specifically stand in the breach and do what no politician really on either side of the aisle was doing, which was standing up for the nuclear family and the children.
That's right. That's what moms do best. Let's tell us a little bit about the book in general before we get into, maybe a couple of the moms, and we'll talk about Kimberly, but why did you choose these 12 and why did you write this book? And it's Supermoms Activated, right?
Yeah, it's Supermoms Activated, 12 profiles of hero moms leading the American revival. So the first thing was all 12 had to have activated, done something, whether it was created policy, an organization, run for office, run for school board, fought this at the, Supreme Court, really, really stood in the breach and took those hits when no one else was willing to. I wanted people from all socioeconomic backgrounds, from north, south, east, west, middle America. I wanted varying racial and religious backgrounds. And that is what is represented in my book. The other thing is, I will say, over 50%,
like a spectrum of America. Yeah.
Over 50% of the women in my book are Democrats that voted Republican for the first time in the primary. So to your point, this book is a timestamp of 2020 to 2022. 2020 saw the tectonic shift. It was COVID and BLM, which ushered in CRT, DEI, SEL, not for people like Kimberly, who already saw it, but for normal people like me that had never been aware of CRT, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, SEL, social, environmental, is it social,
learning.
emotional learning?
Yeah.
So for people like me that were just waking up to it, when you read Kimberly's story, she's known about this. But for most moms, we had no clue. And if you remember, the acronyms kept on changing: DEI, DEIB, CRT. It didn't exist. What is it? All of a sudden it does it. Right. So, and then it goes through the primaries in 2022. And that date is very important because it is when these Democrat moms were like, oh no, we have had it. And what happened is I knew that the Biden administration, as well as the teachers union, were going to look to erase those years. And I wasn't going to let them. And these mothers had already been called domestic terrorists and silenced. And I wanted a testimony, a timestamp, not only to what happened, but to what they went through and what they did.
And it's so inspiring, too, when you read stories like this. And this is why we have moms on every week that are just, everybody's story is different. Everyone's journey is different. Everything, what they're championing, what they're fighting, what they're standing for. And it inspires other moms. And I think that is really what is the heartbeat of your book, right? To recognize and to inspire other moms to get activated and to get engaged and know that they can make a difference.
Well, 100%. I think really the centerpiece of this book is the fact that almost all of these moms, if not all of them, were never politically activated prior to 2020. And they moved mountains. These are now household names, whether their groups grew in numbers. We have Asra Namani, who has a court case who has a case before the United States Supreme Court to end race-based admissions in K through 12 school. We've already seen, the Harvard case with ending race-based admissions in higher education. We have Tina Deskovich, who's one of the co-founders of Moms for Liberty. We have Callie Fontanilla, a former public school teacher, who started
a lot of these moms we know.
A private school. We have Samara Armstrong, who was a Hollywood actress who had enough, and she was instrumental in ending the mask mandates in Arizona. She ran for mayor of Sedona. We have Yatin Chu, a Democrat who was part of the coalition that I started with Councilwoman Ina Vernikov when Lee Zeldin was running for governor against Kathy Hochul. We put together Moms for Lee. And the entire point of this was putting together a coalition of Democrat and independent moms, because he already had my vote. And even though he lost, those Democrat moms like Yatin Chu are the reason why we won the House, because of people like her. So recruiting these Democrat moms and these Democrat moms that are not crazy, that are not pro their children being sexually exploited. And trust me, that is the majority of Democrat moms, as well as the independent moms, is crucial for us.
Right. Really, I'm sure we agree on more than we disagree. And every issue is a mom issue. And there's so many things that, we say that all across the country. This is why Moms for America is special, because we unite moms that are concerned about their children's future, America, their home. They want a safe place for their children, and they want to make sure they've got a great education and so on and so forth. So how did you end up finding out about Miss Kimberly Fletcher to be in the book?
I am not 100% sure. I've been asked that before. I've been on War Room a couple of times, more than a couple of times. I know that she's been on War Room. Perhaps I heard her there. I was at CPAC in Dallas last year. I heard her there and was riveted by what she was saying. I think, once you get, it's funny, once you just come out and you're authentic about who you are and what you believe in, the circle, I don't want to say is small. I mean, it's ever expanding, but these names keep coming up, and these women who, again, have just paved the path. And she was one of those women that I looked up to, and I was so inspired by, and she is so knowledgeable. And I think the thing that separates her from the other moms in this book is she really gets into the history of how we got here. And I think that is not a boring thing. It is a crucial thing to understand. We have to understand, how did we get here in 2020? She gets it, but I didn't get it. I was pissed off like so many moms. I was bereft. I was, hysterical at moments. I was upset when the schools closed. I didn't understand the whole gender thing, let alone the furry thing where kids identify as animals and have litter boxes in bathrooms. But Kimberly walks through very easily how we got here in simple to understand terms. And that is crucial because we don't ever want to be here again.
Right. And we do have to understand how we got here. And I guess a lot of us saw different things coming. And a lot of us were just, some of the moms, right? We're talking to them right now. They've just been busy. They've been, raising a family. They've been working. They've been trying to multitask and just kind of hold it together. And then all of a sudden, all heck breaks loose and you're like, well, how did we get here? Well, the journey was, the path was paved for this, and now we're here. But what do we say to our moms? Because we do have a lot of super moms that are listening and they want to get involved. They want to get engaged. They want to get activated. And I think you'd have some really good advice for them.
It's not my advice. It's these 12 women. And the first thing they do is they discuss various angles of attacking woke ideology. So you have 12 different vantage points. The other thing, and I think this is the most important thing, is they provide a blueprint for every mother, grandmother, father, taxpayer. We are funding this educational system that is turning our children against us.
Yeah.
Kimberly and all of these other moms, they provide the blueprint for you to get involved, whether you are a type A mom or whether you prefer to be behind the scenes, whether you want to run for the library board. I mean, that's a huge thing. Look at the books that are going on, whether you want to run for school board. We have, again, Tina Descovich and Olivia Barnard, two of the moms that are in this book. The school board is huge. I mean, the budgets for some of these school boards are the size of a small country. I mean, that is huge. They decide everything that goes on in that town. We have moms like Asra Namani. Again, she talks about crafting policy. Every mom has really simple, straightforward advice. You can get involved in a small way, a huge way, and it is all possible.
It is all possible. What did you learn by interviewing these 12 moms? What did you walk away with that maybe touched your soul and inspired you in a special way?
I think the most important thing was some of these moms did it without any money. They were going through financial ruin. They were going through divorces. They had a tremendous amount of faith, and they used COVID not as a sentence, but as a springboard. And those are survivors. Every mom in this book, and I have chills as I'm saying it, they are, the thing about these women is they got involved when there was no game plan. There was no one backing them.
Yeah, they were the answer.
These were soldiers. These were generals, and you cannot win a war without either. And the thing about these women is they never looked at this like it was impossible, like it was tough. They were not compromising on certain things. They were willing to bend on others, but on certain things, the exploitation of our children, the removal of merit-based education, many things that you'll read about in this book, there was zero compromise. And that's how moms roll. When danger strikes, their antenna goes up and they're not sitting around waiting for instructions. That is how every one of these 12 moms rolled. They got moving, they activated, and they're now the leaders of the movement. We have the founding fathers and we now have the founding mothers.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. This book is just really so inspiring because when we listen to another mom, we know that another mama bear can do it as well. So thank you for putting this down and really documenting these inspirational stories. I think I'd love to do, maybe could we do a little giveaway? Could we get you to sign a couple of books? Maybe we can get Kimberly to do an autograph too. I know we talked about this previously, right before we started, but how about a giveaway? Could we give away some of your books to our listeners here?
I would love to. Let's give away some books. You and I can choose how many, or do you want to say how many?
I think we said 5.
Let's do 5. And the first people to get in touch with you, first come, first serve. So
All right.
get moving. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So let me go with that. So moms, if you want to go ahead and get a signed and autographed book by Jacqueline and by Kimberly Fletcher, you're going to email me at podcast@momsforamerica.net. Again, that's podcast@momsforamerica.net. We will take those first 5. And then I think what we want to do, Jacqueline, too, is have these moms read the book, get inspired, get activated, because these are super mamas that are probably going to be reading it, but then pass it on, right, to another mom that you know. Maybe someone that's not, I think we talked about this, maybe that's not in the circle. Maybe someone that's a family member or something that could be really moved by these stories. Is that what you'd love to do?
100%. There's so many moms that feel bereft. They don't understand the current landscape. And read the book and please pass it on.
Pass it on.
About sisterhood, motherhood.
I love it. And for moms that do want to find out more about the book and your background, would you tell us where they can find the book and give us your website?
Yeah, please go to, the book is available online only at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's Supermoms Activated, 12 Profiles of Hero Moms Leading the American Revival. I'll show you a picture. And I'm very active on Instagram. So if you are one of the 5 that get the book, please tag me at Instagram, tag me, tag Kimberly, Moms for America. And it is Jacqueline for NYC. That's JACQUELINEFOR And, you know, I love staying connected to all of you women. You've all been a huge source of inspiration for me. And I think that was one of the most beautiful things about COVID, the online community that we all created.
It's true. We did. We had to figure out ways to communicate, learn, connect, and build each other up. And so really this whole virtual world has been a challenge in many ways for education with our kids and taking the kids out. But for a lot of us, we were able to connect in a special way. But I would say, Jacqueline, that you are a super mama. So thank you so much for sharing this and just documenting it all. I can't wait to officially read it. I've just kind of thumbed through some of the stories, but I so appreciate what you're doing. And let's keep inspiring each other in this journey and realize that moms are the ones that are going to save this country.
That's true. And I'm super grateful for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. All right, moms, you heard it. We are giving away 5 books that are going to be autographed by Jacqueline and Kimberly Fletcher. So go ahead, email me right now. Go ahead, podcast@momsforamerica.net. And would you just tell me your name, maybe the city, the state you're from, and maybe give us a little bit of feedback. But I would love to award 5 books. So again, that's podcast@momsforamerica.net. Thank you again, Jacqueline, for chatting with us. And we so appreciated the discussion about Supermoms. All right, to all those Supermoms that are listening, we want to go ahead and remind you to visit us at our website and take advantage of some of our resources, our programs, webinars, all kinds of information for you moms. We are here at Moms for America to help you in any way on your journey through motherhood. We also have a great program that when you go to momsforamerica.us, it's called our Cottage Meetings, and it is 12 lessons that will inspire and educate you on America's heritage and history. So you then can go ahead and teach those principles to your children and make an impact in your community, just like we've been talking about, because we know that really all moms are super moms. You guys are incredible. So keep doing what you're doing, and we are here to provide information and just support. My ultimate support group. Also, I do want to tell you that when you are at our website at momsforamerica.us, sign up for our newsletter, because we do want to communicate with you weekly with resources, our podcast and our blog and all the information, all kinds of activities we have going on. We say this every week, moms. We believe that liberty begins at home and that you moms are truly the heartbeat of America. That's why this movement is so powerful. This is why we can write about supermoms all across the country, because it's moms that are changing the landscape of America for better. You are fighters and you are warriors. So thank you so much, moms. Please join me next week for another inspiring and informative discussion with moms just like you about moms just like you. And remember, we are changing our world one home at a time, moms. And I'll talk with you soon.